Hello everybody, welcome to Clement's Family Farm and 4-H baking for Cinco Campanas 4-H baking group. I'm the leader, Becky Clement. It's my daughter Kylie. She's going to be helping out. We're going to do some pretty simple cookie recipes for you guys today. We'll have the recipes down in the description so you can follow it. And for my 4-H kids, I'm going to send it to you in an email so that you can print it out and have a copy of it while your parents help you make these recipes. I'm really hoping that I can send you these videos and then we'll get together on a Zoom meeting a couple of weeks later to see how everything turned out for everybody and to see if you guys have any requests for other recipes or things that we can do for our baking group. So our first recipe is going to be super easy. Doesn't make very much, so this is a great after dinner, want a quick snack peanut butter cookie recipe, and it works great for if you have anybody in your family who can't have flour, because there's no flour in this cookie recipe. So 4 ingredients, super easy. First ingredient, peanut butter. Then sugar, either white or brown sugar. I like brown sugar better because I like that molasses flavor, but white sugar works fine. You need an egg, and you need a teaspoon of baking soda. So we're going to get everything together in a bowl, mix it up, and then we'll go from there.
So why don't you explain what you're doing?
So I have 1 cup of peanut butter that I'd already measured out, 1 cup of brown sugar that I'm going to put in the bowl too. I'm going to take 1 egg, and I always break it first into a ramekin so I make sure that there's no shells or anything in it. There we go. We'll add that and get rid of our eggshells. And then we'll add our 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And I should have mentioned before we started that you want to have your oven preheating to 325 degrees so that everything's all ready to go once your cookies are all made. And we'll just mix all of these together really well. So as you can see, this makes a pretty sticky dough. You can make it a little bit easier to work with by refrigerating it for a little bit. Once it's cold, it's a little easier to make into little balls. But you can do it just like this. You're just going to get sticky. So Kylie's going to go ahead and roll these into little 1-inch balls for me. And you can either just bake them. You'll put down parchment paper so that they don't stick onto your baking sheet. And I'll show you that. You can also just use spray Pam too, but I really like the parchment paper. It makes cleanup really easy. So Kylie's going to come and make these into little balls. And you can either make them as you do like a traditional peanut butter cookie, where you drop it into sugar to get a nice sugary coating on the outside. Or you can just do round little balls. And you can also use a fork to make the little crosshatch pattern that you often see on peanut butter cookies. And I'll show you how to do that. You just go in one direction, and then you turn exactly the opposite direction. And then you got your little traditional crisscrossed peanut butter cookies. So we're just going to keep going until we've got the whole tray and all the dough done, and then we're going to bake these at 325 for 6 to 8 minutes. You don't want to overdo them. They're supposed to be pretty soft. And then we'll meet back with you in a few minutes. slightly bigger balls, I guess.
No wonder I turned out like I did.
How could you not?
You want one big ball?
So we've got our cookies all set on our baking sheet. We've got about a dozen and a half. We're going to go ahead and bake these at 325 for 6 to 8 minutes. We did get them kind of close together, but luckily this recipe, they don't spread out a lot, so we'll be able to cook all these on a single sheet. And I'm going to go ahead and check them in 6 minutes, and we'll check back in with you guys.
Alright, so we're going to be making chocolate chip cookies next. To begin with, we're going to start with our wet ingredients, which is sugar, butter, eggs, brown sugar, and vanilla. We're going to add our butter into our mixing bowl, followed with our sugars, eggs, and vanilla.
And Clement Family Farm vanilla.
Don't brandy on them. Alright, we're going to give this a good mix until everything is well incorporated. After your wet mix is all mixed together thoroughly, we're going to take our baking soda and 2 teaspoons of hot water and let the hot water dissolve the baking soda thoroughly. When that's all dissolved, you can go ahead and add that into your wet mix. Next, we're going to take our dry ingredients, which is our flour and our salt. We're going to add everything together and give it a good mix. Make sure everything's well incorporated. And we can go ahead and start adding that slowly into our wet mixture. We don't want to add too much because it would make it hard to mix. As soon as all your flour is incorporated, go ahead and add in your chocolate chips. And give that one more mix. everything's all mixed together, you can go ahead and top this off your mixer. And bring it over to your cookie sheets. These are pre-lined, but you can also go ahead and use any sort of
Baking spray.
baking spray. This is your part. You made me do this.
Okay. So we went ahead and we upped our oven temperature to 350 degrees, and it's all preheated. And we'll give that, once we get all these cookies on the sheets, then we bake them for 10 minutes a piece and check them and see if they're done at that time. So I like to use an ice cream scoop because it makes nice, even, round cookies. But these cookies will spread out a lot more than the last ones we did, so I'm going to give them plenty of room.
So why are the cookies going to spread out?
So this recipe has a lot of butter in it, and that will make the cookies spread out more. The last one just had peanut butter in it, which is something that's will spread out as well. But there's a lot more butter in this one.
And with the parchment paper, you don't have to lube it up or put any
Nope, it doesn't.
no stick stuff on there?
You can, but you don't have to because it doesn't stick to the parchment paper. It's fantastic stuff. All right, we're going to go ahead and put these in the oven, and we'll check back on them in about 10 minutes. So here's our tray of cookies. We actually did have to do them a little bit longer than the 10 minutes it recommended. I think I ended up with a total of about 15 minutes before they got the nice brown edges and the tops looked done. The other tray, since it was underneath, needs just a little bit longer. So they'll be, once they sit for a minute, then I'll move them to the cooling rack to cool all the way. Batch. We're just going to finish up taking the rest of the batter. There's probably another 8 cookies left. Get them cooked, and then we'll be all done, and we'll show you the finished results for both cookies in just a few minutes. Alright everybody, I hope you tried making the cookies, and I hope you liked them. We made the peanut butter flour-free cookies and then our chocolate chip cookies. Just to warn you, because there's no flour in the peanut butter cookies, they can sometimes be a little crumbly and delicate when you're trying to move them onto a plate. But hope you guys all enjoy, and I'll see you at our next meeting.